In this video, I want to answer a few common questions. How do I retain my home IP address when away? Does my PC really have to be on to use Meshnet? You can fix both of these issues with a dedicated Meshnet endpoint device in your home network. This way, you don't have to keep your PC on at all times. Besides, your home IP address stays with you wherever you go. Additionally, such a device will allow you to remotely access gadgets connected to your home network, even if they can't run NordVPN. Okay, what you need is a power-efficient device running Linux. I recommend the Raspberry Pi. There's a wide array of devices to choose from, starting with the cheapest Raspberry Pi 02W and ending with the full-size Raspberry Pi 5. If you're planning to stream videos through your endpoint, consider the latter model, because it will provide better performance. I'm using a Raspberry Pi 4B. Make sure to grab a case, a microSD card from a reputable brand, a power adapter that fits your device, and an SD card reader if your computer didn't come with one. Software-wise, you need Raspberry Pi Imager, which is quick and easy way to install Raspberry Pi OS and other operating systems on a microSD card, and a terminal to remote into your Raspberry Pi. Most, if not all, operating systems come with a terminal installed by default. Once everything is ready, put your microSD card in your card reader and open the Raspberry Pi Imager. Choose your Raspberry Pi model, operating system, and the SD card. Once ready, click Next, and when asked if you want to customize the OS, click Edit Settings. This will allow you to configure the image so that it works right after you turn the Raspberry Pi on. Within the OS customization window, set the hostname which you will use to access the Raspberry Pi. Also, choose a username and a password that you will use to log in and set up your Raspberry Pi. Make sure you remember those settings and create a strong and secure password. In the wireless LAN section, set up the SSID, which corresponds to the name of your current Wi-Fi network. Then, type the password for the same Wi-Fi network. Make sure that there are no typos in either of those settings. Otherwise, you will need to reinstall the OS to access your Raspberry Pi. Lastly, set your wireless LAN country and locale settings to match your current location. Then, in the next tab named Services, make sure to enable SSH and use password authentication. Keep in mind that the public key authentication method is more secure, but it requires a little more tinkering. Once everything is set up, hit Save and wait for the image to be written to the SD card. After writing and verifying the image, eject the SD card and put it in the Raspberry Pi. Then, connect the power supply and give it a minute or two to boot up. Here's a quick troubleshooting tip. If your Raspberry Pi won't connect to the Wi-Fi network, this usually means that you might have made a mistake while setting up the SSID and/or password for your Wi-Fi network during the OS customization step. You will need to go back and prepare the SD card once more. The next step is to open a terminal of your choice. On Windows, you can open the Start menu and type in Terminal or CMD. On macOS, you can do that by hitting the Command button, plus space and typing in Terminal. With the terminal open, type in SSH followed by the username you have chosen during the SD card preparation, and your Raspberry Pi hostname.local. In my case, the command is SSH space adam@meshnet.local. Then accept the fingerprint by typing in yes, and finally type in your password and hit enter. Next, you will need to install the NordVPN Linux app. Luckily, that's super easy and you can do it with a single command. Check the description for a link to our handy guide. Give the script some time to finish, and in the meantime, grab the login token from your Nord account page. You'll need this token to log into NordVPN on your Raspberry Pi. You can find a link to a guide in the description below the video. Keep in mind that the token will be shown only once. Make sure to store it securely and never share the token with anyone you don't trust. Now, back to the terminal that's still connected to your Raspberry Pi. You can log into your NordVPN account with the following command. However, if you see the same permission denied accessing error, you will need to use the following command to fix it. And then reboot your Raspberry Pi with you may need to provide your password to carry out the commands. Give the Raspberry Pi a minute or two to reboot and reconnect to it with the same command as before. Now, log into NordVPN with the same token as before. Then, turn on Meshnet with the following command. Once you've got Meshnet running, make sure to set up the correct permissions for your remote device. I have already set up NordVPN on my phone and will be adding all the permissions to it with the following commands. Then, to check the Nord name of the Raspberry Pi, use. Now, open up the NordVPN app on your remote device. I'm using my phone, but you can use other devices like a PC, tablet, or Chromecast, or even a TV that runs Android TV. Head over to the Meshnet tab of the NordVPN app, then click Route Traffic, and choose the Raspberry Pi in the list to route the traffic. Keep in mind that you can only route your traffic through a Windows, macOS, or Linux device. Now, you can access other devices on your home network through their local IP addresses, and will need to keep a power-hungry computer running at all times. What's more, whenever you're routing the traffic through your Raspberry Pi, you will retain your home IP address. That's it for the video. If you found it interesting, leave a like and subscribe for more.